and so forth of the victims that we can release.
You said there are 19 victims. Were all 19 shot?
Yes.
All 19 were
Yes.
shot. What was the weapon, sir?
Well, it was a semi-automatic weapon.
Was it a military weapon or not?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
19 that was purchased on the...
Well, we're not going to get into the real specifics of what we have, but it was a semi-automatic pistol.
You said that the shooter had a troubled past with a criminal background. Can you please give us some more details about that?
No, at this point, we're not able to go into the specifics of his background.
Are we concerned about that other person that you mentioned? That may have been...
Pardon?
Is the other shooter, the other suspect, is he a shooter?
No.
About an hour ago, there was a silver sedan towed from the parking lot where this occurred. Is that at all related to the incident?
I don't think so.
Who has the shooter? Where is he now? Who's custody?
He's in the custody of the Pima County Sheriff's Department. We're not able to go into the specifics of those issues at the moment.
Sheriff, is there any sort of protection plan for other federal employees in the area?
No. But it's not unusual for all public officials to get threats constantly, myself included. And that's the sad thing of what's going on in America. Pretty soon we're not going to be able to find reasonable, decent people who are willing to subject themselves to serve in public office. There was no security.
Can you release the names of the men who tackled the shooter?
I don't have them. Do we have them?
I do not have them.
We don't have them here, but we know who they are.
Chief Cassinger earlier said that, if I heard you right, that the attack was caught on videotape from the store. Can you confirm that? And if so,
right now, we're not going to be able to go into that specific information.
Is that correct, though?
Can you talk about any return of fires? Did somebody shoot back at the shooter?
There was no exchange of gunfire.
Was there security at the press conference?
There was not. It wasn't a press conference. This was a town hall, informal meeting outdoors.
Did the mall or the store itself have any kind of security officer present?
Not to my knowledge, but that's not unusual.
Sheriff, do you know what the shooter was saying as he was shooting? Was he yelling out names as we heard?
Based on our investigation, we don't have any specifics about what he might or might not have said.
Can you tell us the conditions of the congressional agency was given?
No, I can't.
Sheriff, how long do you expect that scene to be locked down the way it is?
I don't know. We still have a whole lot of work to do there.
Where do you believe the other person who might be involved in this case is headed? Is he...
Don't know where he's headed. We don't know who he is.
Do you know that it is indeed a male?
Pardon?
Do you know that it is indeed a male used?
Whoever's mic that was, I'm sorry. Now it's 3 mics. We do know that he's a male, yes, sir.
The other individual.
Pardon?
The other individual. The other individual that you mentioned with that possibly arrived at the event with the shooter.
I'm 74. I'm going to be 75 next week, and my hearing is not very good.
Are you sure that the other individual is a male?
Yes.
Okay.
What leads you to believe that he is aligned with this first suspect?
Well, I'm not at liberty to go into that at this moment, but obviously we are pursuing this aspect of the investigation very aggressively, and if there comes a point in time where we can release all the information, we're going to do that as soon as possible.
From the shooter. Why did you do it? Was it policy? Was it illegal immigration?
I don't know.
Has he made any statements?
No.
Sheriff, you mentioned a suspicious package. Can you elaborate on that?
It's happening as we speak. That's all I know. The Tucson Police Department is handling it.
Has he retained counsel, sir?
Pardon?
Has he retained counsel?
I don't know the answer, but I know that he has invoked his rights.
Are there other suspects beyond the one?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Do you have the identity of this other person, and are you currently looking for him, actively looking for him?
We have an individual that we are actively in pursuit of, but I can't tell you who he is at this point.
Sheriff, these 2 heroes that stepped in and tackled the suspect, can you say with certainty that had they not done that the suspect could have shot others?
Well, at this point, I don't know if he still had ammunition in the gun or not. He did. Yeah, he could have, he probably would have shot other people had he not been tackled by two people.
Did any of the victims seem to know the shooter?
No.
Sir, do you know how many rounds were shot? And can you take us through a little bit about what happened, the sequence of events, how the town hall was occurring, were people in line waiting to speak with Gabrielle Giffords? Did this gentleman come up and attempt to speak to her? Can you just provide us a little bit more with how this
No, as I said, it was a very informal thing that was just starting. And he ran into the crowd, and when he got to her, he started shooting. Wound up shooting 19 people.
Is there security video from the parking lot?
I'm not at liberty to talk about evidence at the moment.
Sheriff, you've gone into great detail about the possible mental state of this suspect.
Well, as we understand it, there have been law enforcement contacts with the individual where he made threats.
Against her?
No.
Who did he threaten?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
Can you at all describe the nature of the threats?
To kill.
Are you aware of the YouTube page that apparently belongs to the suspect?
7 minutes long, yes, sir.
You mentioned there were other rounds. Do you know if he was planning to kill himself?
We think that may be a possibility.
Is it accurate? Is it accurate that he was a veteran? Military veteran?
I do not know the answer to that.
How many shots in total fired?
Do not know the answer to that.
This other person that you're looking for, you mentioned no, but can you say if he's white, young?
He's white.
Do you know approximately what his age is?
Probably in his 50s.
Is it normal protocol not to have Giffords well equipped with security around her during these types of events, even if they're...
This was strictly normal procedure. This is when Gabrielle Giffords, and I've been to many of her events with her, goes, there's never security unless there's advanced intelligence that there may be a problem of some kind, which there were plenty of during the election. But she goes to 4 to 6 to sometimes 8 events in one day when she's here over the weekend.
Security is her choice, is that correct, Sheriff?
Well, she can ask for security, but she's never asked and been refused that I'm aware of.
Sheriff, the judge who was there, would he just happen to be coincidence? He knew Congresswoman Giffords was there and he just came by to say hello?
He wanted to say hi. He knows her very well.
Sheriff, is one of the deceased victims her age?
Let me just repeat that we have 2 people who are not identified, and I think for the sake of the families of people who think that possibly they may have friends or relatives that may fit into the category of deceased, it's not appropriate for me to say.
But you said you could identify the others.
We have the names of some that have the families have been notified, and those are going to be available after the conference here.
Beyond the names, do we know whether these were aides? Do we know whether these were people in the audience? Do we have that identifying information?
We have it, but we're not releasing it at the moment for the reason I stated.
One more quick question about the 9-year-old girl. Was she just with a parent in the audience? Was she relative to Ms. Giffords?
We do not have that information.
We don't know why she was there. She may have just been walking by.
This has been a very chaotic scene, as you can well imagine. That number of people who were injured or killed, and they've gone to different hospitals. So it's been very difficult for us to try to sort all these things out. We're doing the best we can, and when we get the information that can be released, it'll be released. A lot of it is available right now.
Sheriff, you said he was carrying a pistol. Did he reload? Was he carrying a lot of ammunition?
I'm not at liberty to talk about that.
Are you threatening other public officials?
I'm not at liberty to talk about that.
Security being intensified for other public officials?
Well, those are issues that are going to have to be decided on a case-by-case basis.
Is there any inkling that we have an Arizona pattern? After all, Homeland Security Secretary Jen Napolitano got a package the other day, and now this. Is there any, and perhaps Mr. Gray might answer that, if you could. Is there an Arizona pattern to this that you can see?
Not that we're aware of, that we're seeing right now.
Sir, the weapon that he did have, do you know how many rounds that had the capability of holding?
Substantial number.
Any idea? Can you be more specific?
They already know that, Sheriff, it did.
Pardon?
They already know that it did.
It did what?
Have an extended magazine.
So do we have any estimate on then knowing that, on how many rounds to pull?
We're not going to discuss it.
Can you elaborate on the shooter's experience at Union College? What kind of disciplinary problems he might have?
Well, he was, as I said, a subject of some police interest in the recent past.
Do you also believe the representative of the hall was also a target?
I don't have any reason to believe that.
Are there any other law enforcement agencies investigating this besides the Pima County Sheriff's Office?
Well, we have a number of federal agencies. Their chiefs are here in the audience, as a matter of fact. We've had AT&F, we've had DEA, we've had ICE, we've had the U.S. Marshal, and their representatives are here with us today.
Sheriff, when you talked about his mental problems, can you elaborate? Was he schizophrenic?
I'm not a psychiatrist, but I have no reason to believe that the person was insane. Was he unstable? I would agree with that.
Sheriff, how long did suicide note?
Pardon?
Did suicide note found?
I can't talk about that.
Sheriff, how quickly was law enforcement on scene?
Within a few minutes.
Is the second person that you're looking for a suspect or just a person of interest?
He's a person of interest at the moment.
Is that person related to the gunman?
We don't know who he is.
Was there a possibility of another attack at Congregation Unshot had this attack not gone on?
I don't know.
Next event?
We don't know. He's not talking, and we have a lot of work to do.
Sir, about how many people were in the crowd this morning, if you know, in all?
I think there were roughly 2 or 3 dozen people there.
2 or 3 dozen in all?
So
Right.
can you clarify how many people were killed at the scene versus en route or at a hospital?
5.
All were killed at the scene?
Yes.
Thank you.
And what is it, one at the hospital?
Six died at the hospital.
The 6th person, a 9-year-old girl died at the hospital.
Is it correct?
5 were killed at the scene, 1 died at the hospital.
Did he have a car in the parking lot?
We don't know.
I hate to ask this question.
Pardon?
How long before the paramedics showed up?
I would imagine that they were right around the corner, so it would have been almost immediately.
Was there any reason to think that the person of interest dropped him off?
Don't know.
Were all the people who were shot in attendance at the event?
I don't know the answer to that.
Did nearby businesses, obviously there's a lot of them, did they go into lockdown? Tell us a little bit about that.
I don't know the answer to that, but Captain Nanos, N-A-N-O-S, who's in charge of the Detective Division for the Pima County Sheriff's Department, can probably give you more specifics.
What is your first name, Captain?
Chris.
C-H-R-I-S?
Yes, ma'am.
Last name?
Nanos, N-A-N-O-S.
N-A-M-O-S?
N.
2 N's.
N as in Nancy. A. N as in Nancy. O-S.
Who's your title?
Captain. I'm in charge of Criminal Investigations Division for the Sheriff's Department. If I might add just briefly, we are working jointly with the FBI on this case, and they've been of great assistance. All the local agencies, to include TPD, Oro Valley, Miranda, I could name them all, and I'm going to miss some, but all of them have assisted us. We appreciate their efforts, and they're continuing to assist us, and that's to include the fire department and their medical teams, too. It's joint.
Was the 9-year-old, she died at the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Was she airlifted?
I don't know how she was transported, but she did pass away at the hospital.
Or any of the other folks who were killed, were they related to the 9-year-old girl?
We don't know that yet. We're still working on those issues. We have identified all 5. All the deceased have been identified. We are working on next of kin notification, and therefore we can't release any of that identity at this time.
Captain, to follow up on the very first question, who was the first person shot today?
I don't know that yet. We'll look at it. We've interviewed a number of witnesses. We still have to interview a number of victims that are at the hospital. We haven't had an opportunity to talk to those people yet, so it would just be pure speculation.
Where was Judge Gold hit?
I'm sorry?
Where was Judge Gold hit?
You mean where was his injuries?
hasn't been
I don't know
performed
those
yet.
things. I don't know those things.
How about the suspect's friends and family? Have any of them been contacted?
I believe we've been in touch with some family members, but I don't know any specifics.
At what range were a lot of these shots fired from?
Very close. That's all I can tell you, very close.
Does it appear, if you know, that he just was spraying bullets, or was he literally targeting?
I can't get into those specifics. I wish I could.
Do you know what the shooter was doing just before the shooting? Like
I-
an hour or two?
No, sir, I do not.